Port Nyla bustled with activity, its neon lights casting a kaleidoscope of colors across the market square. Traders from countless planets hawked their wares, creating a cacophony of sounds and smells. Marcus Lang, a seasoned freighter captain, navigated through the crowd with practiced ease, his eyes scanning for potential deals. As he turned a corner, he almost collided with a small hooded figure. The person stumbled and nearly fell, but Marcus caught them just in time. The hood slipped, revealing an alien woman with strikingly delicate features and large, expressive eyes. She looked around frantically, her panic evident. "Please," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Help me." Marcus glanced around, noticing several heavily armed men scanning the crowd, their eyes zeroing in on their location. Without hesitation, he pulled the woman to her feet. "This way," he said, guiding her through a maze of alleys and back streets. After what felt like an eternity, they reached the relative safety of the docking bay where his ship, the Starlight Voyager, awaited. The woman collapsed against the hull, breathing heavily. "Thank you," she said, her voice filled with relief. "My name is Liara. I'm on the run." Marcus studied her for a moment, sensing the gravity of her situation. "Why are they after you?" Liara's eyes filled with tears. "I'm the last surviving member of the royal family of Zarkon. A tyrant named Korin overthrew our government and slaughtered my family. I've been running ever since." Marcus nodded, his decision made. "You're safe with us. Let's get you inside." Inside the Starlight Voyager, Marcus introduced Liara to his crew. Tara, the ship's tech-savvy engineer, raised an eyebrow at their new passenger, while Jax, a grizzled ex-soldier, merely grunted in acknowledgement. Liara sat down, her hands trembling. "I know I'm asking a lot, but I need your help to stay safe. If they capture me, they'll kill me." Marcus exchanged a glance with Tara and Jax. "We can offer you sanctuary, but what exactly do you need?" Liara took a deep breath. "I need to be married. Under human protection laws, a marriage would grant me asylum. It's my only chance to stay hidden from Korin's reach." The crew fell silent, absorbing the gravity of her request. Tara was the first to speak. "Marry you? That's quite the solution." Liara nodded earnestly. "It's the only way. Please, I beg you." Marcus rubbed his temples, feeling the weight of the decision. "We'll discuss this further. For now, let's focus on getting out of Port Nyla safely." As the Starlight Voyager prepared for takeoff, alarms blared through the docking bay. The ship's sensors detected multiple hostiles approaching fast. Marcus and his crew sprang into action. "Tara, get the engines online. Jax, arm the defenses." Marcus barked orders, his adrenaline pumping. Liara watched in awe as the crew seamlessly coordinated. Tara's fingers flew across the control panel, igniting the engines. Jax manned the ship's weapon systems, his eyes steely with determination. The docking bay doors began to close as Korin's bounty hunters stormed in, firing their weapons. Marcus took the helm, steering the Starlight Voyager out of the bay with expert precision. The ship's thrusters roared to life, propelling them into the vastness of space. "Hang on!" Marcus shouted as they dodged incoming fire. Jax returned fire, targeting the pursuing ships with deadly accuracy. Explosions lit up the darkness as the enemy ships were hit. Tara monitored the systems, ensuring they maintained enough power to stay ahead. Liara clung to her seat, her heart pounding. "Will we make it?" "We have to," Marcus replied, his voice filled with resolve. The Starlight Voyager weaved through an asteroid field, using the debris as cover. The enemy ships struggled to keep up, their pilots less skilled in navigating the treacherous terrain. With one final maneuver, Marcus led them through a narrow gap, causing the remaining pursuers to crash into the asteroids. As the ship emerged from the field, the crew breathed a collective sigh of relief. They had escaped, but the journey was far from over. "We did it," Liara whispered, her eyes shining with gratitude. Marcus nodded, his expression determined. "We're not out of the woods yet. We need to figure out our next move." The crew gathered in the ship's common area, the weight of their new mission settling in. They were now fugitives, bound together by a common goal, to protect Liara and bring down the tyrant Korin. As they plotted their course to the Galactic Council's headquarters, Marcus couldn't help but feel a surge of hope. They had a chance to make a difference, to stand up against tyranny, And with Liara by their side, they might just succeed. The Starlight Voyager cruised through hyperspace, heading towards the Galactic Council's headquarters. The journey was long, and the crew used the time to learn more about their new passenger. Liara, though initially timid, began to open up about her past. "I was trained in diplomacy and governance," she explained over a meal, "but I never expected to be in a situation like this." Tara, always the skeptic, leaned back in her chair. "So you're a princess on the run, looking for a human husband. Why us?" Liara sighed, her gaze distant. "I had no choice. When I saw Marcus, something told me he was different. I sensed kindness, a willingness to help. I had to take the chance." Marcus, listening intently, nodded. "You made the right call. We'll get you to safety." As they neared their destination, an alert sounded. The Galactic Council's headquarters loomed ahead, a massive structure orbiting a blue-green planet. The crew prepared for docking, but as they approached, the ship's sensors picked up an unexpected presence. "It's Corrin's fleet," Jax growled. "They're blocking the entrance." Marcus tightened his grip on the controls. "Looks like we're not going to get a warm welcome. Prepare for evasive maneuvers." The Starlight Voyager dodged and weaved through enemy fire, Jax returning shots with precision. Tara worked frantically to boost the ship's shields, while Liara watched the battle unfold, fear and determination etched on her face. "We can't get through," Marcus said, frustration evident in his voice. "We need another plan." Liara's eyes lit up with an idea. "There's a refugee fleet nearby. They might help us." Marcus hesitated but then nodded. "It's worth a shot. Set course for the refugee enclave." The Starlight Voyager arrived at the refugee enclave, a hidden sanctuary in an uncharted sector. The enclave was a patchwork of ships from various planets, forming a makeshift community. As they docked, the crew was greeted by Zethra, the enclave's leader, a tall and imposing alien with a commanding presence. "Welcome," Zethra said, his voice resonating with authority. "We don't get many visitors. What brings you here?" Marcus explained their situation, introducing Liara and detailing Corrin's tyranny. Zethra listened intently, his expression grave. "We've heard of Corrin's atrocities," Zethra said. "You're safe here, but we cannot guarantee protection for long. Our resources are limited." Liara stepped forward, her voice steady. "We need your help. If you aid us, we can help defend the Enclave and bring down Corrin." Zethra considered her words, then nodded. "Very well, but we must prepare for the inevitable attack." Later, in a quiet moment aboard the Starlight Voyager, Liara approached Marcus. "I know the situation is dire, but I must ask again. Will you marry me?" Marcus looked into her pleading eyes, understanding the depth of her desperation. "If it's the only way to keep you safe, then yes. I'll marry you." Liara's eyes filled with tears of relief. "Thank you, Marcus. I promise I won't be a burden." The preparations for the battle were underway. Refugees and crew members worked together, fortifying defenses and training for combat. Marcus, Tara, Jax, and Liara led the efforts, fostering a sense of unity and purpose. As they neared Orion's belt, the tension was palpable. The Enclave's sensors picked up multiple enemy ships approaching fast. The ambush was imminent. "All hands to battle stations," Marcus ordered, taking the helm. The enemy fleet descended upon them, and the battle erupted in a blaze of laser fire and explosions. The Starlight Voyager darted through the chaos, its weapons blazing. Jax coordinated the defense, his experience in combat proving invaluable. Amidst the battle, Liara found herself in the thick of the action. She took charge of a defense squad, her leadership and courage inspiring those around her. Tara worked tirelessly to keep the ship's systems running, her technical skills crucial in the heat of battle. Despite being outnumbered, the refugees and the Starlight Voyager crew fought with fierce determination. They used the asteroids of Orion's belt to their advantage, outmaneuvering the enemy and delivering devastating blows. As the battle raged on, Marcus saw an opportunity. "Jax, Tara, cover me. I'm going after their flagship." With expert precision, Marcus piloted the Starlight Voyager towards the enemy flagship. The ship's powerful cannons fired relentlessly, crippling the enemy's defenses. Marcus's heart pounded as he steered the ship into a daring maneuver, positioning them for a final strike. "Now, Liara," he shouted. Liara, coordinating with the defense squad, launched a concentrated attack on the flagship. The combined firepower of the Enclave and the Starlight Voyager was too much for the enemy to withstand. The flagship exploded in a brilliant display of light, signaling the end of the battle. The battlefield fell silent, the enemy fleet decimated. The refugees and the crew cheered in victory, their spirits lifted by the hard-fought triumph. But they knew this was only the beginning. With Corin still at large, their fight for freedom and justice was far from over. As they regrouped and tended to the wounded, Marcus and Liara shared a moment of quiet reflection. Their bond had grown stronger, forged in the crucible of battle. They were no longer just allies. They were partners, united by a common cause and a shared determination to bring down the tyrant who threatened them all. After the intense battle at Orion's Belt, the Starlight Voyager and the refugee fleet docked at a hidden enclave in an uncharted sector. The enclave was a vast, sprawling network of interconnected ships and stations, each one teeming with refugees from countless planets ravaged by Corin's tyranny. Zathra, the charismatic leader of the enclave, welcomed them warmly. "You have proven yourselves as formidable allies. We are grateful for your assistance." Marcus, Liara, Tara, and Jax followed Zathra through the bustling corridors of the enclave, observing the refugees working together to rebuild their lives. The sight was both inspiring and heartbreaking. "We need to fortify our defenses," Marcus said. "Corin won't stop until he finds us." Zathra nodded. "We have limited resources, but with your help, we can train our people and prepare for the next assault." The crew and the refugees quickly got to work. Marcus and Jax led combat training sessions, teaching the refugees how to defend themselves. Tara upgraded the Enclave's technology, enhancing their communication systems and improving their defenses. Liara, drawing on her diplomatic training, organized the efforts, ensuring everyone worked together efficiently. As the days passed, the Enclave transformed into a well-organized, fortified community. The refugees, once hopeless and scattered, now had a sense of purpose and unity. Bonds formed between humans and aliens, their shared struggle bringing them closer together. The Enclave buzzed with activity as preparations for the impending battle intensified. Marcus and Jax pushed the refugees to their limits, instilling discipline and combat readiness. Liara, once a sheltered princess, discovered her own strength and leadership qualities, inspiring those around her with her determination and courage. During a training session, Liara led a group of refugees through a series of combat drills. Her voice was firm, her commands clear. The refugees, many of whom had never held a weapon before, responded to her leadership with unwavering dedication. Marcus watched from a distance, his admiration for Liara growing. "She's a natural leader," he remarked to Tara. Tara nodded, her skepticism replaced by respect. "She's come a long way. We all have." As the Enclave prepared for the inevitable attack, the bond between Marcus and Liara deepened. They spent long hours discussing strategies, their shared mission bringing them closer together. Despite the looming threat, there were moments of quiet intimacy, stolen glances, and whispered conversations that hinted at something more. One evening, as they stood on a balcony overlooking the bustling Enclave, Liara turned to Marcus. "I never imagined I would find such strength in myself," she said softly, "and it's because of you." Marcus took her hand, his eyes locked onto hers. "We've found strength in each other. Together, we can overcome anything." As the preparations for battle reached their peak, Marcus and Liara's wedding took place. It was a small, solemn ceremony held aboard the Starlight Voyager, attended by their closest allies. The Enclave's refugees watched from a distance, their spirits lifted by the union. The ceremony was simple but filled with emotion. Zathra, who had quickly become a trusted friend, officiated the wedding. Marcus and Liara exchanged vows, their voices steady despite the weight of the moment. "I, Marcus Lang, take you, Liara of Zarkon, to be my wife. I promise to protect you, stand by you, and fight for our future together." Liara's eyes shimmered with tears as she responded. "I, Liara of Zarkon, take you, Marcus Lang, to be my husband. I promise to support you, trust you, and share my life with you." As they exchanged rings, The Enclave erupted in applause. The marriage solidified Liara's status under human protection laws, but more importantly, it symbolized the unity between their people. It was a beacon of hope in a galaxy torn apart by conflict. After the ceremony, Marcus and Liara shared a quiet moment in the ship's observation deck, gazing out at the stars. "We've come so far," Liara whispered, resting her head on Marcus's shoulder. "And we have so much further to go," Marcus replied, his arm around her, "but we'll face it together." Their bond, forged in the fires of adversity, was now unbreakable. They were not just husband and wife. They were partners in a mission that would determine the fate of countless lives. As they prepared for the battles ahead, they drew strength from their love and their shared determination to bring down Corran and restore peace to the galaxy. The final preparations for battle were completed, and the Enclave stood ready. The fortified defenses, bolstered by the hard work and dedication of both the refugees and the Starlight Voyager crew, bristled with energy and anticipation. Marcus, Liara, Terra, and Jax took their positions, each knowing that the coming battle would be their greatest test yet. The sensors blared an alert. Corran's fleet was closing in fast, their ominous shadows blocking out the stars. The Enclave buzzed with tension, but there was no room for fear, only resolve. "They're here," Marcus announced over the comms. "Everyone, to your stations. Remember what we've trained for? This is our home, and we will defend it." The enemy ships opened fire, and the battle began with a deafening roar. The Enclave's defenses held strong at first, repelling wave after wave of attackers. Refugees fought bravely alongside Marcus's crew, their determination unwavering. Jax directed the ground defenses, his experience in combat proving invaluable. "Keep firing! Don't let them break through!" Terra, from her control center, managed the Enclave systems, ensuring that power was distributed where it was needed most. "Shields are holding, but they're putting on a lot of pressure." Amid the chaos, Liara led a squad of fighters, her presence a beacon of hope. She moved with a grace and confidence that inspired those around her. "We can do this. Stand your ground." Despite their best efforts, the sheer numbers of Corran's forces began to overwhelm the defenders. Explosions rocked the Enclave, and the situation grew increasingly dire. "We need to take out their command ship," Marcus realized. "If we can disable it, we can turn the tide." Liara nodded, determination in her eyes. "Let's do it." As Marcus and Liara prepared for their daring assault on Corran's command ship, a sudden explosion rocked the Starlight Voyager. Systems flickered and alarms blared. Terra's frantic voice came over the comms. "We've been sabotaged. There's a traitor among us." Panic threatened to spread, but Marcus remained calm. "Find the source and neutralize it. We can't afford to fall apart now." In the midst of the chaos, Jax discovered the traitor, one of the refugees, coerced by Corran under threat of harm to his family. "Why did you do it?" Jax demanded, his voice filled with betrayal. "I had no choice," the traitor pleaded. "He has my family." Jax's eyes softened, but his resolve remained firm. "I understand. But we can't let him win." With the traitor secured, Jax made a fateful decision. Knowing that the sabotage had crippled their defenses, he took it upon himself to buy time for the others. He commandeered a small, heavily armed shuttle and launched a solo attack on Corran's fleet. Jax's shuttle weaved through enemy fire, drawing their attention and causing chaos among their ranks. His sacrifice allowed the Starlight Voyager to regroup and prepare for the final assault. "Jax, no!" Marcus shouted as he realized what his friend was doing. "Tell them it was an honor," Jax replied, his voice resolute. "Take down that command ship." As Jax's shuttle exploded in a blaze of glory, Marcus and Liara launched their own attack. Fueled by grief and determination, they dodged enemy fire and closed in on Corran's command ship. The Starlight Voyager breached the command ship's defenses, docking with the massive vessel. Marcus, Liara, and a small team boarded the enemy ship, moving quickly through its dark corridors. "They'll be expecting us," Marcus said, his voice low and steady. "Stay alert." They fought their way through waves of Corran's soldiers, their determination unyielding. The sounds of battle echoed through the ship as they pressed on, each step bringing them closer to their goal. Finally, they reached the command center. Corin stood at the center of the room, a sinister smile on his face. So the princess and her human savior have come to die. Marcus and Liara faced him, their resolve unshaken. Your reign of terror ends here, Corin, Liara declared. The ensuing battle was fierce and brutal. Corin, a formidable opponent, fought with a ruthlessness born of desperation. But Marcus and Liara, united by their love and their shared mission, proved to be an unstoppable force. Blow after blow was exchanged until finally, Liara managed to disarm Corin. She stood over him, her weapon raised. This is for my family and for everyone you've hurt. With a final decisive strike, Liara ended Corin's life. The tyrant was no more. As the command ship fell silent, the remaining enemy forces surrendered. The battle was over. Marcus and Liara returned to the Starlight Voyager, their hearts heavy with the cost of their victory, but filled with hope for the future. We did it, Marcus said, his voice choked with emotion. It's over. Liara nodded, her eyes shining with tears. We did it together. The Enclave erupted in cheers as the news spread. The refugees and the crew celebrated their hard-won freedom, their spirits lifted by the promise of a brighter future. Marcus and Liara, now truly partners in every sense, looked out at the stars. The galaxy was vast and filled with challenges, but they knew that together they could face anything. Their journey was far from over, but they were ready for whatever came next. And so, united by their love and their shared mission, they set their sights on the stars, ready to build a new future for themselves and for all those who had fought alongside them. With Corin's defeat and the remnants of his fleet in disarray, the Starlight Voyager and the Enclave of Refugees could finally breathe a sigh of relief. The celebrations were heartfelt, though bittersweet, as they mourned the losses and honored the sacrifices that had brought them to this moment of triumph. In the aftermath of the battle, Marcus and Liara worked tirelessly to ensure the safety and stability of the Enclave. Messages of support and congratulations poured in from various allied planets, each one pledging to aid in the rebuilding efforts. The Galactic Council, having been freed from Corin's blockade, recognized Liara's rightful claim to the throne of Zarkon and pledged their full support in restoring her world. The Enclave transformed from a hidden sanctuary into a bustling center of hope and renewal. Ships from allied planets arrived, bringing supplies, technology, and volunteers to help rebuild what Corin had destroyed. The once fragmented refugees now stood united, ready to forge a new future together. Marcus and Liara stood on a platform overlooking the Enclave, addressing the gathered crowd. Today marks the beginning of a new era, Liara began, her voice strong and clear. We have faced unimaginable challenges, but we have emerged stronger. Together, we will rebuild our worlds and create a future where peace and justice prevail. The crowd erupted in cheers, their spirits buoyed by her words. Marcus stepped forward, his arm around Liara. This journey has taught us the power of unity and the strength that comes from standing together. We will honor those we lost by ensuring that their sacrifices were not in vain. As the rebuilding efforts continued, Marcus and Liara's bond deepened. They worked side by side, their leadership inspiring those around them. Their marriage, born of necessity, blossomed into a partnership built on mutual respect and love. One day, as they walked through the bustling Enclave, Marcus turned to Liara. We've come a long way since Port Nyla. Liara smiled, her eyes filled with warmth. And we have so much further to go, but I wouldn't want to face it with anyone else. Their journey together had transformed them both, revealing strengths they hadn't known they possessed. They had become not just leaders, but symbols of hope and resilience for all those who had suffered under Corin's tyranny. As the days turned into weeks and weeks into months, the Enclave thrived. New alliances were formed, trade routes were re-established, and the once fragmented refugee fleet became a beacon of hope in the galaxy. One evening, as the stars twinkled above them, Marcus and Liara stood on the deck of the Starlight Voyager, reflecting on all they had achieved. We've built something incredible here, Marcus said, his voice filled with pride. Liara nodded, her gaze fixed on the horizon. And it's just the beginning. There are still so many challenges ahead, but with our allies and the strength of our people, we can face anything. Hand in hand, they looked out at the stars, the future stretching before them like an endless sea of possibilities. They knew that their journey was far from over, but they were ready to face whatever came next, together. As the Starlight Voyager prepared for its next mission, carrying aid to a distant planet in need, Marcus and Liara felt a sense of purpose and fulfillment. They had turned the tide against tyranny, and now they were ready to build a legacy of peace and prosperity. And so, with hearts full of hope and determination, they set off into the unknown, ready to light up the galaxy with their courage and compassion. The dawn of a new era had begun, and they were leading the way.